Hello, my name is Jessica. Welcome to Gaming and More. In this video, I plan to tell you exactly how you can get wins every single time in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. I get wins pretty much every single time I play Modern Warfare 2 using these tips, and you can too. Stick around until the end because I also have a super secret surprise tip that will blow your mind and really make a difference in getting those wins. These tips will work in both core and hardcore modes, and let's jump right into it. So the first point I want to make is the first thing you will want to know are my settings. Settings are very important in Call of Duty, so let me explain those now. So I'm going to go over here, I'm going to go to, I play on controller, so quick settings, really quick. So my horizontal stick sensitivity is on 4. These are baseline settings. You can set it to whatever you want later once you get a feel for the game and you know what's going to work for you for this, but I have it set to 4 because that's personally what I enjoy using. My aiming input device is of course the controller. I do not use a mouse to play this game. This is just my button layout. This is all the stuff that it's just the base layout. This is what you get when you play. My camera initial position is free look, and my vertical stick sensitivity is 4. My stick layout preset is, as you can see on the screen there. I do not play with keyboard and mouse. My graphics, brightness, all that. That doesn't really make a difference. That depends on the personal system you play on. Same with the audio. I have it set to 100. Audio is important to be able to hear what you're doing. So controller settings. My bumper ping is off. Stick layout preset, we are doing on that. I have vibration on just because I personally like it. You might like it or you might not like it, it's up to you. 4 for those, we already went over that. My ADS sensitivity multiplier is just, it's locked, I can't change it, so it is, I can turn it, I can like use these. So this is what I have it set to 1 for all of these. But I don't usually use these very often anyway. And then that's set to 4. Vertical aim axis, I have it set to standard for everything. Aim down sight behavior, I have it set to hold. So I have to hold down my left trigger to aim down sights. Change zoom, shared input, sprint / tactical, sprint / focus. Automatic sprint is off. I just prefer to hold down the stick because sometimes I like to go slow and sometimes I don't, and it's easier to hold down the stick to sprint. Need to learn how to talk. Equipment behavior, hold. Weapon mount activation, ADS plus melee. So ADS plus melee for the settings that I have is basically you left trigger and then right stick. Left trigger and then hold down the right stick to mount your weapon. Tap to reload. Usually that's the X button. Let's see. What's next? Okay, now I want to encourage you all, don't just use my settings. The settings tab isn't a one size fits all, and you should play around with various settings to see what works for you. I hope these settings give you a good baseline of where you want to start though. I really do. And the second point I want to make is not to stay in one spot too long. Use movement to your advantage. And this is kind of where I'm going to show footage. There should be footage on the screen of popping up of me using movement to my advantage to win a fight. So I'm going to show that. Place footage here. I know it may seem like a good strategy to put your back against the corner and aim down sights at whoever you see from that position, but in reality this is the best way to ensure you're donating bodies to best way to ensure you're not donating bodies the entire match. Make sure you move. Yes, that is my number one. Honestly, if you take nothing else away from the video except for the last tip, please wait till the end. It's a great tip, I promise. But if you take nothing else aside from the last tip away from this video, then please take that from it. Movement. Movement is key. I know camping works for a lot of people. It can be a great resource to use once in a while, but I have gone and just killed campers over and over and over again in the same spot so easily, and it made my games run much easier because I just knew where people were, and I would get wins that way every time. People would just camp in the same spot. So I encourage you not to do that. This will inhibit my gameplay because that is how I play. I go to the campy spots, but it would be a lot more fun if I didn't have to do that. So please, I beg of you, move, and move some more. And run and gun might not be your style, and that's okay. Switch your spots up. Move back and forth a little bit while you're shooting. Those things will help you greatly, I promise. I'm not lecturing y'all on camping. It's just those things will actually help you and come to your advantage, so you don't get picked off. I know most maps have a few good spots, but switching spots and running around a little will definitely help you improve. Yeah, so I wrote that as a note. And your KD will improve too, because you'll be able to find more people quicker and get more kills. And your gameplay will improve because you are learning the mechanics of the game a lot quicker, so moving around helps with that as well. Another way to use movement to your advantage is to move side to side while shooting. Yes, I said this a minute ago. I have notes here that I'm looking off of. So anyways, move side to side while shooting. Back and forth, side to side. Move around. Even do a little bit of jumping. I hate the jumpers, but I have to say it does work to their advantage. That's why they do it. So do it. I need to work on that. I came from Fortnite and I can't even jump in COD. It's so insane. But anyways, moving side to side catches the other players off guard. It makes you harder to hit, and it forces the little bit of aim assist, if you're playing on controller, which I do, to work harder. Don't be afraid to slide into your enemies. Another way movement helps. This is another method that makes you harder to hit and can catch some less seasoned players off guard. If you are coming around a corner and hear that another player is waiting for you, slide around the corner into them and then shoot them. Jumping around, I already mentioned that. Okay, let's skip that. Slide into them, slide around corners, do all that crazy stuff, because that is what the good players do. That is what the seasoned players do. That is what the players that I sometimes get really mad at do. When I'm just trying to have a casual gameplay session in there in my match. You can't just do that. So yeah, definitely do that. I don't usually, like I said, I don't prescribe to that play style. I don't do that. I don't jump around. I don't do a lot of sliding. I do it some, but it does work to your advantage. So I'm putting it in this tip video. The last tip regarding movement is corner peeking. You want to be able to peek without the other person being able to get a shot off on you. There really isn't a lot you can do in this scenario to make this impossible, aside from limiting the amount of times you peek and the amount of time you spend peeking. I see people, and I do this too, I'm guilty of it, peeking for long periods of time, trying to line up their shots. Don't do that. Peek out, get a couple shots off, go back. Peek out, get a couple shots off, go back. It, one, forces the other player to come to you if they want the kill, which, again, still puts you at the advantage because you can switch spots behind that corner and they won't know. Switch spots, and then you can kill them easily. And I do use this method quite a bit. If it takes more than a second to get a shot off, then that's too long though. You have been shot, you're dead, especially in hardcore, because you only need one shot to get the kill in hardcore. So if it takes you more than a second, you're done, because that's all it takes for them to see you and shoot you, because they're not waiting to line up their shots. And And this is where these tips can differ. So in core, this works to your advantage because you can get shot multiple times without actually dying. In hardcore, you only get shot once. So in both, it works to your advantage because you have cover for hardcore so that you are less likely to be hit. And in core, you have cover and you have grace for when they're firing shots off at you. You have the ability to position yourself and figure out where they're firing from if you're behind a corner. But always watch your back. That's another thing. Watch your back when you're corner peeking because there might be someone coming around behind you. But you have the advantage against the opponent that you're corner peeking at, especially if they're out in the open and you're not. So in core, it is the most advantageous, but in hardcore, it can also be to your advantage. Crouch walking. I know someone who does this. I play with them. It can be so annoying, but it does work because you are harder to hear if you're crouched. So if you know someone is on the other side of a wall, behind a door or a corner, crouch walk around. They won't know you're there. You can catch them off guard really easily. You know, and that is your best defense too, is catching people off guard. Catch them by surprise. That is the best way that you can do to play this game. I'm going to switch over to the screen. They may not have heard you. Yeah, I already said that. Okay. So cut that. And point 3, are you ready for the last and final tip to get those wins in Modern Warfare 2? And when you hear it, you'll be blown away. You'll think it's so simple, it's so easy. You'll think that it is the most obvious tip ever, but it is also the most important. And none of the tips before, none of them are worth hearing if you don't use this one, especially if you're playing core, but in hardcore also. So here we go, the last and final tip. Get headshots. I know, seems simple, it seems obvious. Everyone knows to aim for the head, right? Everyone knows this, but not very many people do it. Not very many people care enough to get their aim right, to aim for the head every time, to practice that. So, but that is the best, especially in core. You take down your enemies quicker. It's more efficient. It definitely works to your advantage. And your kill streak goes up from 50% to almost 100%. I'd say maybe more like 98% in core. Every single time. Instant kill every single time. Headshots. It's basic beginner level stuff, but you'd be surprised. You'd be really surprised how many people, I'm sure you don't even think to use it most of the time. You just shoot and hope. But that's that. That is our tips for today. That is all I have for you. And I hope that this helped, especially beginner players. I know it's tough to get started in such a massive franchise, a massive game. But I hope that this helped. And I will see you all in the next one. I know I'm a girl. Girls can play Call of Duty too.